The devil, he says, he places hold, the let a gun straight on. I says to him, what's the matter with me, and he says, she can't gan on. I've been 16 out of a June, pitiful heart.
Anyway, well, here I am, I'm with Mike Donnelly, and he runs with, amongst other people, the Bridge Folk Club in Newcastle. So, it's great to be here.
And lovely to have you, Tony.
It's great. Well, I mean, we've had chats, and
yes.
You've been kind of like on my wish list for quite a while. You've got more enthusiasm. You know, you could probably power the national grid when you start the folk club, and I think that's a very important thing. That if you're enthusiastic and enjoying yourself, that gives.
It's not me actually. I'm a very glum person.
Yeah, and I'm French. Yeah.
It is funny actually. You've got to perform though when you do get up, haven't you? Your performing is wonderful. It's great. You come over, and you do have to do that because if you get up and just say, "Well,
yes.
hello, yeah, we'll start in a minute. Thank you very much for coming." Yes, it is a presentation, but it isn't my normal way of speaking. I think you wear people out.
Of course, yeah. Well, wear yourself out as well.
That's right, yes.
Yeah. But it isn't just you who runs the Bridge Folk Club.
Absolutely not. It's important to say that. There's a small team of us, if you like, particularly Peter Armstrong and I, who do the emceeing, and Eric Sharp, who does the videoing, and a wonderful job with the videoing. Yeah. But also we have other helpers who click in and out at different times.
Yes.
Mel, who will MC from time to time, he's a wonderful supporter. He does all kinds of things very quietly. He'd go on the door, give us a spell. The 60th anniversary celebrations that we did this year, in 2018, the 60th anniversary of the club, were almost entirely organised by Alison Hamer, who did a wonderful, wonderful job. And without her, it just wouldn't have happened. Yeah, she reorganised the high level ranters.
All right.
And what a
did she get like a DFC for that? So
she absolutely should have, shouldn't she? It was great. Yeah. And she worked so hard on getting a lot of people to come, and the reactions we got were absolutely amazing.
And it was sold out.
It was absolutely sold out, yes. Sage Gates said, we were in Hall 2, for one instant, we did Whitby as well, but Hall 2 at Sage Gates was sold out, which was absolutely amazing, because to begin with, we thought, how many will we get here? We better cater for maybe 80, 90, and it ended
so
up
ambitious.
Well, yes, that's right. And Sage opened level 1, and all the tickets for level 1 disappeared. And it took some persuading for them to get open level 2.
All right.
And I can see why, because if they open level 2, you've got to have more staff on, which means more payment, of course. But if they opened level 2, the tickets for level 2 all went. We had the same conversation at level 3.
All right.
They eventually agreed to open level 3. Level 3 all went. And it was an amazing night. But it was Alison Hamer to thank for all the organisation for that. But we have such a lot of friends, like you yourself, have given to the club a guitar. Because we just happened to say to you one day, or such and such needed to do a song, didn't have a guitar. Have a guitar, you said, which is absolutely amazing. But
it was a great legacy, because I'd been given it, and it was like an Echo Ranger, the kind that you could chop a tree down with, really. So
we've done that.
Yes, that's it. All the trees outside of the bridge.
Yeah.
But it's just, I mean, there is a very welcoming atmosphere within the place, and you can tell that it doesn't happen just by accident.
That's right. I mean, we do try, especially if we see a newcomer, we try to make sure that somebody has a word with them and said, oh, well, where are you from? Have you travelled far? What's your interest? Are you a performer? Because that's a very important question to ask. And try to make people feel welcome. But also the regulars, we try to make sure they're welcomed as well.
Oh yes, absolutely. Yes.
And
you always make a point of making sure you get the regulars in, as many as you possibly can.
Absolutely.
And you've got quite a wide range of residents who come.
Certainly have. Ranging from people who will do almost entirely only the old traditional child ballads, through to people, again, like yourself, who've written some magnificent new stuff.
This isn't about me.
No. I have to say,
it's not about me.
Okay. he did say, include him in his many questions. No, people, there's a discussion, isn't there, about, oh, what should a folk club do? What kind of folk music? What is folk music and what's the tradition? It's a big red herring, because for as long as I've followed folk music, and I'm going back to the middle of the 60s, there's been people writing amazingly good new stuff. What, Johnny Handel, Ed Pickford. And it's fit right into the tradition immediately. Fits the spirit of folk music, I guess, is the expression I'm looking for.
Yes, oh yes.
And it's wonderful. Yeah, I welcome all the new stuff. Well, no, I don't welcome all the new stuff. I have heard a couple. I thought, that doesn't really belong here.
You're allowed an opinion.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yes.
You know. So, but you're a performer yourself, aren't you? I mean, you sing and play and...
No. Short answer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I call you now a liar.
I put it to you. At the club, if it's a quiet night, I will fill a gap, if you like. I'll get up. As a singer, I have a good voice for the MC job.
We're all so modest. We're all so modest on the folk scene. You've sung some great songs and done recitations.
Recitations, that's where I'm more at home with recitations, yes.
Yeah.
Again, I can sing if the tune is simple, without a big range, not a complicated tune, then I'll fill the gap with those songs. But I'm not at home with singing. I'll do a recitation. I enjoy doing them, particularly the funny ones. You know, there's nothing wrong with coming to a folk club and having a laugh.
No.
But I'll do the funny ones in particular. Things done like Gary Hogg, local writer, wonderful writer. That's my preferred kind of recitation. I have done others, but that's my preferred one. And I try, though, if I can organise a night at the club so I don't have to perform, then that's great for me. I don't actually enjoy performing. I don't enjoy doing the MC bit, actually.
Really? It certainly doesn't show. I mean, but you're like a driving force behind the club.
Somebody, well, I'm not the only one again, I must say that. But you have to, if you're going to do the job, you've got to do it well.
Yeah, you've got to do it well.
Yes,
absolutely. That's it.
Yeah. Try to make it seem as if you want people to have a good time, when all the time I'm thinking, oh, why have you come here? Go home.
The shortest run folk club in the world, as opposed to one that's just celebrated the 60th anniversary.
Absolutely.
What were your
While
experiences?
the shipyard siren blue, we chased each other home. But that was some long time back, since some 30 years or so, when we lived over yonder banks, over there.
So now I can my cocoa take my pouch with baccy stored, all in my blue coat and my three-cocked hat. I'm as happy as a lord, 'cause I've done my duty, I've served my king, and now I bless my fate. But blast me, I'm too old to sing. I'm nearly 98.
Absolutely.
What were your experiences of folk clubs and folk music?
Well, when I first became interested in folk music, well, actually I wasn't interested in it at all. I thought it was just a way to impress the girls. But that was a sad era, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, that's it. Hey, I took up the banjo.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, it was the middle of the 60s. And went to the Bridge. Was it called the Bridge at that time? It might still be called Folk Song and Ballad at that time. But went to the club which is now called the Bridge. And instantly hooked. But you would be by the likes of the High Level Ranters and Foster Charlton, I mean, Ray Fisher. People who are revered these days. And
Yes.
were at that time. I mean,
Yes.
international artists. So the quality of the music that was being played and the songs that were being sung was amazing. See, it was very easy to fall in love with the whole package at that time.
Oh yes.
And the Bridge, if you were if you had any name at all in folk music, you appeared as a guest at the bridge.
Right.
You know, if you went down a list of any performer that you could say, oh yeah, they were good, they would have been to the bridge. You know, Cyril Tawney, I just happened to say to somebody last week, I think, who did a Cyril Tawney song, that, oh, he sang that here.
Yes.
Oh, did he? You know,
Right.
And the number of people, it's amazing. There are famous stories, which I believe are true, about, you know, of course, the local pop group, The Animals.
Oh, yes.
The lead singer, Eric Burden, came to the bridge one day, heard Johnny Handel singing in New Orleans.
All right, House of the Rising Sun.
House of the Rising Sun, that's right. And of course he took it back to the group and recorded it and made millions from it.
Yeah. You see, he was on a programme the other day saying how, you know, like an uncle who was a merchant seaman had brought back a record, and, you know, all of these things are apocryphal.
They're all true.
And they're all, yeah, based on a true lie.
That's right.
Is the thing. I mean, I don't know if people remember, but the way that it was, like the high-level ranters and everybody would sit on the stage behind you and perform.
Yes. The room was set out slightly differently from the way it is now. There's a big bay window at the bridge, and the stage was in front of the big bay window, and the residents, the high-level ranters, plus Ray Fisher, plus whoever else might be there with them at the time.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. They would command the stage and invite performers to perform in front of them. And most of the time they were very accommodating and polite, of course. But you could tell if sometimes they weren't completely pleased with what the performer was doing.
Yes.
And it did intimidate people. Ed Pickford has said, oh, he didn't used to like performing in front of high-level rattlers at the back. And a few people have said that as well. And I can understand why.
I mean, these days I would turn around and just perform to them for one song.
Yes. Yes.
There was this thing though, there was like the critics group with Ewan McCall, where somebody would perform and then they would sort of give them a critique afterwards.
Yes.
Which quite often wasn't, oh, I really enjoyed. It would be like, well, you know, this was hyper-mixolydian mode and, you know, whatever. This sort of very nitpicky.
I think that's true, yes. But I'd like to think that we've moved away from that now. You
Oh,
know,
absolutely. Oh, yes, of course, yeah.
But you were asking about the experience of folk clubs, and at that time, in the middle 60s, going through to the early mid-70s perhaps, I could walk every night from my house to a different folk club.
Oh, yes, yes.
And good quality entertainment at every one. It was amazing.
I think that people forget that. I mean, now, like a lot of clubs that used to run weekly, which is one of the greatest things about your club, is that you can guarantee on a Monday night it's going to be open.
That's right.
Come hell, high water or refurbishment, basically.
Yes, we do have occasional problems, like a refurbishment which was sprung upon us, and we had to cancel a night because the pub was locked.
Yes.
And for the same reason we can't
It's
go
a
on back
detail.
holidays, but you know,
Folk music does not know locked doors.
We should have met outside, you're quite right, yes.
But it was a bit cold at that time. So, I mean, so they were like the early days, and I believe that you were a member of the Bridge Folk Club?
Yes, indeed. It started in 1958, which is how we found our 60th anniversary in 2018. I think my first visit was in 1966. I've been trying to remember because I knew you'd ask this, and I couldn't quite remember.
Predictable.
I think it was in the summer of '66 was my first visit to the club, and at that time I don't know if it was compulsory to be a member, but I remember having a little green card with the club's name on and various rules on the back and so on.
I love the idea. The rules of this folk club.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, the rules included things like
no Wesleyan on a Wednesday.
It said it is not a political organisation, and all you know, folk music. You know, no protest song. Well, of course, it was all protest songs. It was all politics, but it was all done in the manner of still entertaining people. But you could get a few quite serious.
Yes, you would have the likes of like Alex Glasgow and.
Oh yes, absolutely. And his almost entire repertoire is focused towards a particular political stance.
Yes.
And I guess most folk people will have a certain sense of social responsibility, and that leads them to be leaning towards the left. It's not going to be entirely, is it?
No.
And that's fine, but I don't think we should be talking in the folk club about what's happening in Parliament today.
Yeah,
but yeah, we still love protest songs,
yeah.
political songs. But there was a great song written by one of our regulars a little while ago about Trump when he became president, and things like that.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. Well, the pomposity of politics, is just there for lampooning, really.
Absolutely, yes.
I don't know why, but when you were saying that, I was just thinking about, say, like a conservative saying, "Oh, the poor working man." Good. but
Slightly free and easy. That should be her name. When my body's landed, hope she dies of shame.
Stopped going to folk music, folk clubs rather, and you get other responsibilities, don't you?
Of course.
Wife, mortgage, family, all this sort of thing. Job took more and more time away from
mere details.
Absolutely. And it was about 6 or 7 years ago, I guess, when a friend of mine who I used to work with at the time said, "Do you fancy going to the bridge?" I can't remember who was on. He said, "So," I thought, "Oh, I haven't been for years. Yeah, we'll go." And went back and didn't immediately become hooked into going back every week, but started to go occasionally, and then thought, "Oh yeah, I like this again. I'm going to go." Again, still can't go every week, even though I'm helping to organise it.
Of course.
Life gets in the way sometimes. But yes, it became another regular part of my life. And because I am helping to organise it, and I am involved with Eric Sharp doing the videos, he will video the performers, do his various techno-wizardry, and then send the videos to me. I'll put the titles on, send them out to the performers to make sure that they're okay with it, going to the club's Facebook page or YouTube channel. I've started again doing some research into folk music and this kind of thing, and it's fascinating. It probably wouldn't fascinate many people, but there you go.
But it's like a hobby. It can become like an enjoyable obsession. Where you wind up sort of researching more and more.
That's right. And when we post the Facebook videos and YouTube videos, I think it's a little bit of added value if I can tell people at the same time with a short paragraph, maybe how old the song is or where it came from, or if it's got some kind of backstory.
All right.
I'll put it on. Or if the story is too long, I'll say, well, if you want to look at more about this, then go to this link. Maybe Wikipedia link, but I try to use not just Wikipedia.
But that's a huge resource. I mean, I think you've got 1,200
about that,
sort of different videos of different styles and different levels and different types. And I mean, it's such an archive as well.
It is, and
but it must be time consuming.
Yes, it is. It does take a lot of time.
Love shall have a coffin made of gold that shines yellow, and she shall be buried on banks of green willow.
In the name of humanity bitterly torn, in the name of our children as yet to be born, before we do that which can never be undone, I beg of you, think again, and again, and again, and again, and again, and again.
But it is a hobby, and hobbies can become a large part of your life. You must practice your banjo playing and so on and so forth.
Don't start spreading that rumour.
No, what I meant was you must start practicing.
Oh my God, I understand now. All I needed was a bit of emphasis. So, you at that time, you've seen like 6-7 years ago,
Yeah.
that must have been during the time that Dave Milligan was running it.
That's right.
And he ran it for a couple of centuries, didn't he?
He did, indeed, yes. In fact, I think he wrote most of the child ballads. Yeah, Dave did a fantastic job, actually, of keeping the club open.
He did?
About 20 years, I think. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I think it's about 20 years. And folk clubs were changing. All folk clubs were going through a period of audiences dropping and so on and so forth. And it was really difficult, but Dave stepped up to the mark every week and kept the club going.
Absolutely.
And did an absolutely tremendous job.
Yes.
Towards the end of 2016, for reasons beyond his control, I mean, he wasn't well. He said, look, I'm going to have to step back from this. And the club would have closed. But Eric and Peter and I said, well, you know, we can't allow this to happen. There's enough people coming who we really need to continue to come to enjoy themselves. And we'll see what happens if we take it forward ourselves.
All right.
So we took over from Dave, and again, I must emphasise that we wouldn't have had a club to take over had it not been Dave's efforts all the way through.
Absolutely.
And we thought, well, there are possibilities here to increase the audiences, so we started to ask different guests to come, and we're still wanting the audience to grow further than it has, but we're pleased with the way the club's gone. We still have further to go, but we're quite happy with the state it is in at the moment. We're paying our way now, which we were struggling to do at the beginning when we took it over.
Oh well, that's really heartening. I mean,
Yes.
It is because of like I say, the team that you've got, and the fact that you've got such credibility as a club. I mean, it's seen as a
Yes.
as a real badge of honour if you get booked there.
The bridge still has the reputation from the mid-60s and early 70s. You know, people do know it because of the number of people who have appeared there and the length of time it's been there. But we're very lucky. In Newcastle, we have the Newcastle University degree, the folk and traditional music degree, I think is the correct title. And the people who are studying on that, we invite them along and they come. And they bring a completely different energy to the club. Not entirely traditional music. They, like a lot of the other performers, will write their own tunes and songs and bring them, and wonderful they are. And they're all mega talented people, absolutely wonderful. And
I told you he was enthusiastic.
But they are great nights. So we don't have only the people who remember the bridge as it was coming along. We get people who we hope will remember the bridge in another 60 years coming along and say, oh, we performed there.
Yes. So you've nurtured them really. You provide a venue for them to practice the stage skills and.
Absolutely. They are. Some of these people must have been born with a musical instrument in their hands. I mean, they're so talented.
Yeah.
And what we try to give them is an opportunity to hone their stage skills, because they're great at playing, great at singing, whatever their particular talent is. But they don't necessarily react naturally with an audience. So in a folk club, if you get onto the stage, then you'll get more from the audience if you look into their eyes and have a little bit of a chat, tell them what it is you're doing, introduce the chorus for a chorus song, whatever it is. And some of them, the first time they appear, may not do that. Some of them do it, some of them are wonderful, some of them do it
yes, of course. Yeah.
but some of them may not do it. They'll get onto the stage, fiddle their tune, and get off the stage immediately without having said anything.
Right.
But gradually I think they see that there's more to it than just performing their tune or their song.
I'm so pleased you mentioned this, because it would be easy just to say that, you know, they're all absolutely fantastic, but the need to have somebody who's got the facilities, as the Bridge Club has, to let them see that you need to do more than just just a playing.
That's right. I mean, we aren't the only club who would invite them along.
No, of course, there's the Davy Lamp as well.
Absolutely, the Davy Lamp. And we shouldn't forget, I know I'm talking on behalf of the Bridge Folk Club, but there's a lot of folk clubs out there who are doing a tremendous job in keeping the whole tradition alive.
Oh, absolutely.
And adding to the tradition as well,
Yeah.
of course.
Other folk clubs are available.
Other folk clubs are available, yes. But yeah, we hope the folk students do see that as a benefit. It's not just a nice night out for them. We hope they do actually see that they can learn something from coming to the Bridge and interacting with the folk audience, because a lot of the time I think they will probably just want to do a session together, play some good music, have a good time. But a folk club, certainly if they do want to make some money from performing, then they need to actually
money from folk.
Who's ever paid a folk artist? Yeah, they do need to hone a different set of skills.
Yes.
And we try to show them that. And also, because we do video every set,
Yes.
we can provide them with the videos, and we always say to every performer, we would love to put this onto Facebook and YouTube, but if you want it kept private, offline, then you are the boss. And they are hypercritical of themselves.
All right.
And they'll say, oh yes, in that final verse I did the wrong note, please do put this in. But because they have their videos, they can see themselves on stage, and they do like getting the videos, even when the videos in their judgment.
And you can learn and grow from whatever you see.
Absolutely.
Well,
yes.
as a corollary to that, I saw them last Monday. There was a group that came from the Rising Stars.
Rising Stars.
And I thought they were absolutely magnificent. They were the best group that I'd ever seen, because they did all of the things that you've encouraged. They spoke, they talked, they looked.
Absolutely right. And some of them were first years, I have to say.
Oh, really? Oh, in that case, I'm doubly impressed.
Yeah, oh yeah.
But I did make a point of telling them, and I also made a point of getting in touch with Alistair Anderson. And I wrote to him, and he said, I'm going to see them all today, and I'll let them know.
That's wonderful.
So we all learn. It's one of the times it's the only way of learning is from your mistakes and getting things wrong. So.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, in a previous life, I was a teacher, and I used to sit in my classes. You learn a lot more from your mistakes than you will from getting things right.
Yes.
But I'm pleased you mentioned Alistair, because he was one of the main driving forces to set up the degree course, and he was part of the high level ranters, of course, and he still visits the Bridge Folk Club.
He does.
Does gigs, of course, nationally and internationally.
Yes, he does.
And he's a wonderful fellow.
Yeah.
And Johnny Handel, he was there a couple of weeks ago.
Absolutely.
Tom Gills-Felon was there a couple of weeks ago.
I know, brilliant. All these great players who used to come to my school folk club, believe it or not.
Did they really? Where was that?
In South Shields. They used to come, and like Johnny Handel came loads of times.
Yes.
And we were all struggling with 6 strings, and he turned up with a 4-string guitar. I thought, this must be something like in his DNA. And when we had the 60th at the club, he wound up saying like it was easier to play with 4 strings than 6. It all seems so clear now.
I heard Johnny say, probably decades ago, when somebody was tuning on the stage, she shouted up, "Oh man, it's good enough for folk music."
Yeah, of course. Of course. Now, you have mentioned sort of like Eric, who sort of works so hard to record all these things.
Yeah.
I, having been away from the folk scene, was initially quite shocked to see that like all of your work was like recorded and done in that way. But now, I mean, what a great tool it is to be able to use to distribute what you like.
That's right, and we hope it's a way of, because a lot of people, sadly, if you go to probably most folk clubs these days and look around the audience, you'll see that people who have hair, it's either grey or a blue rinse. And there's nothing wrong with blue rinses, I'm going to get one myself, but it indicates a certain age. And
twin set and pearls?
Twin set and pearls, that's right. And a lot of the people who, I don't know about a lot, some of the people who used to go to folk clubs regularly just may not be able to get to folk clubs now. And we're putting it online and making these spots, these excellent spots, available to people who cannot get to the Bridge or cannot get to any folk club, maybe.
Right. Do you know, that's an aspect of it that I never even thought of.
Yeah.
But it is. It's a great resource, and if you're looking for a song, I mean, with 1,200 plus,
Exactly.
you know, you're about to find something.
You can check a particular delivery of a particular song, and there, of course, I used to be really anal about this. You know, when I was in the 60s, if I heard a song sung by Tom Gilfillan or somebody, that was the correct way to do it.
All right, of course.
And if somebody sang it, a different word, that's wrong. He's got that wrong. Well, of course, folk music isn't like that. So there are many, many versions. If you do said to one of the students a few weeks ago, the Rising Stars, she was saying, "Oh, I don't know if I've got this right." I said, "Of course you've got it right.
Yeah.
It's just a different version."
Can I tell you the funniest thing of that is, I was telling the Lambton Worm story,
Yeah.
and this fella said, "That's not the correct version. That's not." The words that you used were, "That's not the true version." So
well,
I thought,
there we go.
yeah, which bit of
Yes.
a worm that becomes a serpent is true, you know, so that's just the way that goes. We've talked about all the positive aspects. What do you think is the greatest misconception about folk music today?
I do think there are some people who think you're not there to enjoy yourselves. You know, we get...
What a great answer, by the way. No, I do think it's a great answer. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think some people now approach it in the way I used to, probably a little bit anal, and they think, oh, you know, it's got to be done in a certain way, with a certain serious expression, with a finger in the ear, and all this kind of thing. But no, there's nothing wrong with coming along and having a laugh. A little while ago, in fact, you mentioned Dave Minnigan. Dave did, at the folk club, the Banana Boat song. Well, everybody loved it.
Of course.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with having a laugh. And there is, I think, amongst some people, not everyone, this misconception about you've got to be a bit serious. And I'm not against people treating the subject seriously.
No,
but I don't want to be glum.
No. Do you know, that is a great way of saying it. Like, you don't have to be glum.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can... I mean, all human life is within folk music. I think,
Absolutely, yeah.
you know, you think about the, you know, war and death and, and life and family and...
well, we have a body count at the club. You know, we do keep a note.
Right, okay.
I think every night about you know how many people have died. The record was getting on for 7 billion because it was the whole world.
All right, okay. All right, okay.
But yes, I mean, by all means, treat the craft and the art and your musicianship seriously and do your best. But you know, it doesn't matter in the long run if you make a mistake or if you have a laugh. Get people to join. People love to join in choruses. Get a few chorus songs going.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
Tell a joke. You know.
Yes, this is it. As long as it's clean. Actually, no. Who cares? Who cares? Well, I think, I mean, it's been fantastic talking to you, but there's one thing I'd like to talk about is you started a crowdfunding aspect on your website.
Yes, indeed. In fact, that was Alison Hamer again. I mean, it was her idea, and she she completely generated it. She's looked after it, and it was we had very little money, and of course, in order to pay guests, you need some money, and we also want to try to do as much as we can to encourage the rising stars. All of these things have a cost attached, and we are now, I think I said before, we are now self-sustaining in that the club nights are subsidising the guest nights. We aren't aiming to make a profit, but over a certain period of time we need to break even, plainly.
Of course you do.
And when Alison brought this crowdfunding initiative in, we weren't really breaking even. And it was a way of raising money for the club to pay the guests, to pay the rising stars, to just keep things ticking over. And she had a brilliant idea. The story goes, when Johnny Handel and Lou Killen started the club, and Alison got this directly from Johnny, they didn't know how much to charge for entry. And after some discussion, they said, well, we'll make it the price of a pint.
All right.
Which I think at the time was something like 2 shillings, 10 pence, or 2 and 6,
Yeah.
5.5 pence. And Alison said, well, why don't we update that and say, please give us the price of a pint in order to safeguard the future of the club that you've known for these, at the time it was 58.5 years or 59 years. And she put this crowdfunding thing up, and we included it on the Bridge Facebook page. I pinned it at the top. It's the first thing people see when...
Absolutely. It will be included on the end of this video.
And it'll probably come to the time fairly soon where we need to stop that. But we've had such a lot of gorgeous comments from people who've contributed, including, I believe, one T. Wilson, Esquire.
Never heard of him.
No, a few people have.
I know. If only that weren't true.
But it's been absolutely heartwarming, I think.
Good. I think that's what you need, really.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I've run clubs. I ran the Grove in Leeds for quite a while. I ran one in South Shields.
Yes.
And the amount of work, I don't think people understand just how much work is involved. It's not just opening the door and putting the chairs out.
That's right. Just dealing with guests or potential guests. I mean, we get a lot of people who want to perform at the club, and we have to kind of triage them, if you like. We have to put them into certain categories. Yes, that's a no-brainer. We would love to have you.
Yeah. Start.
Yes. Through to Never in a Month of Sundays. And the Never in a Month of Sundays ones are ones who really don't fit the folk spirit.
Okay.
And we do get people actually, wanting gigs there. It becomes difficult to say to some people, look, I love what you've done, because a lot of them have YouTube videos now, but it just doesn't really fit the Bridge. Sorry, we'll never be able to afford a six-piece band or whatever, and they all want gigs. And we try to answer every enquiry.
Yes.
It's just courtesy, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
And we try, if we are saying we can't have you, we try to explain why we can't have you, and say, we're trying to make it a positive thing here.
Yes.
Sorry, thanks but no thanks, rather than just don't bother asking us again.
I just think that's so courteous. There are quite a lot that just won't respond. But
it becomes a time management thing again, Mike, I have to say, and I do understand if there is one person running a club who maybe just can't find time to respond, because we do get a lot. But if it's possible, we do, and so far it has been, we do respond to everybody. It is courtesy, and you should be courteous, especially to people who are trying to. Poor people, I mean, they're trying to make a bit of a living from this,
Right.
And very few folk clubs will be able to pay top dollar.
no.
So they're trying to put a tour together, these people, with the minimum outlay on hotels and stuff, and yes, you can at least let them down gently if you're saying, no, we can't have you.
Oh, you're so kind.
Best of all, of course, we'll say, yes, please come.
Oh, yes. Okay. Well, you are incredibly encouraging, and I know from my experience. I mean, I wouldn't be playing as I am now if I hadn't had that initial.
That's lovely.
So I turned up to do a floor spot next thing, and I'd done 4 songs. I was like, I'm coming back here. Fantastic. Can I just say, you and the team do such a fantastic job.
Well,
it's been such a pleasure to talk to you.
Absolutely, it's been
We've
wonderful.
had 60 years. The baton's been passed to you, and I'm sure you'll pass it on. But it's just fantastic.
Well, we'd like to think so, but the club is only the people who get there. There's no point Peter and I and Eric filming an empty stage and Peter and I talking in an empty room. It's the people who come and make the club. So thank you, and thank you everybody. Come back. Every Monday, not bank holidays.
What time do you start?
Doors open at 7:30, usually. Occasionally it'll change. Entry free for students if they do a spot. There we go. All students, not just the folk degree students. And we try to make the maximum, even for a guest night, about £6. We may occasionally have to go over that if we get a really expensive guest, but we can't afford to pay the really expensive guests. So between £3 and £6, that's not bad.
That's not bad
That's
at all.
2 pints of beer, even at the most expensive. So, yes.
Absolutely fantastic.
Thank you, Tony.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. No, again, there we go. Yes. So we're done. Are we done?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we make another cup of tea?
I wouldn't mind. That was absolutely fantastic. See?
It was so
dialogue I'll tell you as true as me life, between a coal owner and a poor pitman's wife. As she was a walking nail on the highway, she met the coal owner, and the she did say, "Derry down, 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 Derry down."